Welcome to my bedroom. This is where the workouts happen, morning and night, like I preach to all my athletes, all my patients. You got to be prepping yourself when you get up. You got to be prepping yourself when you go to bed. This is the add-on stuff. This is the stuff that surrounds my big workouts generally. So I've talked about it to every athlete I have about how there's got to be a morning routine, there's got to be a night routine, there's got to be a warm-up routine prior to the things that you do for your sport, for your goals. This is some of my routines. We're gonna throw them up. We're gonna let people, patients, friends, join into the routine. I'm gonna talk about some of the highlights while I work out. Well, not even really work out while I do my thing. My morning and night prep. So here's a nighttime prep. First day of quarantine, number one. All the bars are closed. Golf course is closing. Gym closed. So even High Performance Health right now, we've got the doors shut to try to, flatten that curve. It's a real thing. Flatten the curve through our social isolation, a fancy word for quarantine. Yeah, I think it's an important part of everything that we're doing. People want to know my opinion. Things are going to get tightened up a little bit more as we move forward here, as opposed to loosened up. So let's do the best that we can together, and let's get ready for bed. Let's loosen everything up. Kind of going to go with a little bit of a hip emphasis today before bed. Played some simulator golf yesterday for my last opportunity, I think, for a while to get together with a few of my golf buddies. But enjoyed it, but hips are feeling a little bit tight. We're getting the driver out there pretty well, so let's open up the hips. Let's open up my back before bed tonight. As always, we're going to start with some squats, some push-ups, and some curl-ups, some core activators. Here we go. Generally, I'm going to get in about 50 body weight squats as my typical warm-up. I've been throwing in a lot more walking lunges lately with the restrictions of the bedroom here. Probably be doing more squatting than walking lunging over the next little bit. That's okay. It kind of works out well. I like to try to switch it up between the two. It is my main workout. Walking lunges require a little bit more pelvic stability, a little bit more medial lateral knee control, foot control. So it's one that I probably get caught giving squats a lot more than I caught recommending walking lunges, but that's just because control at home can be a little bit more of a challenge with some of my athletes that are working on their hip dominance as far as their squats go, which is me always preaching to get the hips back, keep the knees nice and wide, make sure that those knees aren't coming forward to the toes, hips are staying back, nice and open, nice and low, making sure I get that little tuck at the bottom of my squat. Counting and talking is harder. We're probably getting close to about 50. I'll vary it up too. Sometimes touch the ground, roll the arms open at the top, get some roll going through the chest, open up the pecs, get all the way above head too. Okay, about 50 there. Let's go into the push-ups. Always military style for me. This is an old pitching arm, so got to keep everything tucked. I got to be really responsible with my scapular positioning, keeping everything straight. Okay. 50 squats, 50 push-ups. A little bit of breathing going on. That's the warm-up. That's the cardio warm-up. Get that heart rate up. And now Let's get the open the spine, open the pelvis, open the hips. Cat camels, big favorite. Tucking the pelvis in, activating the core, tucking through, bringing the shoulder blades back. I like to go into sort of a flexed position after these, where I tuck the pelvis and hold it with the core and the tuck of the hips. Get the hips all the way back. Keep that tuck. Walk the arms out. Coming on back, keeping that tuck. And relax it. Once again, trying to keep that tuck. Usually only do about 3 of the lean backs here. Good. I'm gonna go straight to groin, hip flexors. I like to go right into a sort of a general sprinter type stretch. One leg forward, one leg back. As I come down, I creep back with that trail leg, the rear leg. Gonna get a few comfortable breaths in that push-up position. Gonna try to get elbows down to the arch. Keep checking that rear foot. Should feel a lot of pulling through groin, hips, and pelvis. We're gonna change sides here. Same thing. A few comfortable breaths in the up position, push-up type position, and then try to extend down into the arch of that foot a little bit. You usually go back and forth about 3 times on these guys, depending on what kind of mobility I'm trying to push at the time. Right now, we're just getting the hips open, getting the low back open after a good little golf session yesterday. Always keeping the stretching progressive. First time through, getting as far as you can comfortably. By the time we get to number 3 or a 3rd time through, now we're trying to push the boundaries a little bit. Slow, steady, progressive. That's how mobility work wins. Great. Now we're just going to go into a general control. It's the kneeling hip flexor stretch. Individually opening the sides a little further. We're going to tuck all the way through. Going to use a thoracic crunch, a tuck of the pelvis, activate my glute with a good squeeze, open up the front of that hip. Good. To the other side. Same thing, tucking the pelvis through, getting a thoracic crunch, feeling the activation here and here, rather here and here, opening up the low back, opening up those hip flexors. Now we're trying to generate some hip extension here. Trying to generate an opening of the hip flexors. Trying to activate the core, activate the glutes. Low back, actually, this opens up as well. After going into this, I like to work an even further hip extension and even bigger gluteal activation. So we're going to go into a couple extension positions, Mackenzie extension. Really the key with this is squeezing the glutes, tucking the pelvis as far as we can to generate some hip extension. We're not trying to stress out the back, Trying to stretch out the back, activate a lot of gluteals. So we're going to start on the elbows. We're going to come up to a pressing position, like so. Shoulder blades are down. Bony parts at the front of my pelvis are really pushed into the ground right now. And I'm doing a big glute squeeze activation here. And we're going to go through 3 of these guys as well. Can extend the head back. Really, once again, the force is mostly pushing down through that pelvis, squeezing those glutes nice and tight. Really get a good activation of those glutes. Good. Okay. Now we're going to do a little bit of hip external rotation, get the glutes a little bit. IT bands, not really, more so glute med, tensor fascial lata, the muscles at the top. Really tough to release an IT band. It's sort of like the finishing tendon of your gluteal muscle, your largest one. So beating up on that doesn't usually get us the kind of knee hip relief that we're looking for, but stretching the gluteals and external rotation usually does wonders for many people. Okay, let's do, we're gonna do a modified type pigeon yoga maneuver here, back and forth. We're gonna get that knee and ankle up nice and high. We're gonna slide back with that trail leg. Really starting to feel a lot of good stretch here. We're gonna get down to elbows. A couple comfortable breaths at the elbows. And then a couple comfortable breaths chest down. I like to help to push deeper by pushing off my hands and using my toes to pull back, opening up the whole pelvic girdle there. And we're gonna do about 3 of these guys on each side too. We're talking about side to side imbalances. My left hip external rotation is quite a bit lower than my right. I play right in ball, I play swing right in golf, a right-handed hockey shot. Everything's driving my rear glute from my right side, so it's always a struggle for me to keep them balanced. While I'm in these positions, I'm trying to kind of feel out a little bit of rock to see where I'm tight, trying to open up a little bit to see where I'm tight, trying to play with, you know, the different joints to settle in, get comfortable into those positions. It's not about forcing mobility. It's about gently kind of getting used to the positions, allowing the muscles to relax, not tensing up, breathing comfortably. When you breathe in, you're going to tighten up a little bit naturally. As you breathe out, you're going to loosen up naturally. So that's when you want to explore a little bit more range on the exhale, comfortable exhale. Okay. 3 of those modified pigeon positions. Gonna go into sort of a version of an extended hip flexor stretch. Gets my quads a little bit more. Now starting to work some pelvic balance, getting some stabilization through my pelvis, getting those muscles to work a little bit. I'm keeping an inline lunge while I'm doing this. That's to really help that core control while I'm stretching at the same time. Tucking that pelvis through, trying not to arch the low back like this. More the opposite. I'm trying to get that crunch type motion. Tuck the pelvis here. We're doing about 10 seconds on each side. Once again, mostly just progressively finding my positions, finding my stable position here with my foot, with my pelvis, with my back, getting the shoulder blades back while I'm here. A lot of opening, a lot of gluteal activating. Okay, a few good exercises to open up the hips through there. We touched on a few of my favorites. Warmed up with some squats, went into the push-ups, upper body, lower body, just get the heart rate up a bit. 50s of each, worked into some cat camels, worked into some lean backs, child pose-ish type position. After that, I think we went into some sprinter stretching, some good hip opening with that guy. Also worked into a modified pigeon position. Once again, getting the hips open, kind of in a general format there. Worked into some kneeling hip flexor stretches. Worked into some sort of next level kneeling hip flexor stretches, king pigeon type position from yoga. Did a little, and I'll finish off with a few heel kicks to the glutes, just to kind of snap everything up, make sure I do got a slight dynamic component. I'll finish up with some knee ups right now, and that's going to be the whole workout. Be safe, be smart. Flattening the curve is a real thing. We cannot be inundating our medical professionals right now who are front line of attack, who are having the cases come in. We've got to do that by a little bit of social isolation. Quarantine is what it is. Call it what you want. You're doing your part by doing nothing. Think about it like that. Keep a good spirit. Enjoy your time. I'm going to be showing you some of these terrible videos over this time to give you something to think about. Laugh at me a little bit. Have a high performance day.